What's going on, guys? This is Aaron with AGC. I want to talk to y'all today about refining and redefining what a growth sight picture means to you. Okay, the way I define a growth sight picture is the way I visually process the rear sight on an iron-sighted gun. Is essentially it's a fuzzy, it's a blur of the gun being over my target area. I trust that information, and as long as my fundamentals there, as far as leveraging the gun correctly, grip and body structure, I go ahead and start shooting. Now, typically what people will account this to is point shooting. We aren't point shooting in that we are still following the same rules as what it takes to fire a gun safely, referencing the gun being pointed at my target, the ability to be able to hit my target, and knowing what is beyond and around it and that kind of thing. So come with me today as I go on the journey of firing 2 shots in less than a second from concealment with a button up. Let's go. So, redefining what a growth sight picture is. Depending on the sighting system that you have on your gun, whether it's an iron-sighted pistol or an optic-sighted pistol, you're going to use a reference of the gun being over your target area and shooting before you get complete refinement. So let's talk about complete refinement real quick. If I wanted to hit the top perf, I need to put the top edge of my front sight there, align it perfectly with my rear sight, equal light, equal height deal. Focus hard on the front sight. That's a refined sight picture. What's a growth sight picture? Well, a growth sight picture is essentially taking all this information back of the gun and trusting that it is over an acceptable deviated area of your target zone and running off that information. For an iron-sighted gun, that's going to be the back plate of your gun. Now, what's important to know that you're not looking for any definition in the back plate. You're not looking for the 3 little ribs in your Glock. You're not looking for the duck in your P365. You're not looking for just the, I don't know, perfection in your PDP. Okay? You are just looking for the blurriness or the fuzziness like you see in a rear-sighted picture on an iron-sighted gun to go off of that information. For an optic-sighted gun, you've got a little bit more to reference on the gun, meaning that you've got the top of the optic, which would be a guillotine method. You have the center of the window, which would be the window to life, and then you have the back plate, all right? Depending on your consistency on lifting the gun to the eye level, on what you're tracking inside of your peripheral vision, and on how soon you can get that left hand, that sport hand into the gun, depends on what reference you use to be able to shoot the gun, okay? For me, sometimes I like to do top of the optic, the guillotine method. So let's just say I want to go for this little paster right here. As soon as the top of my optic, oh, messed up RMR, let's just go ahead and do an acro. As soon as the top of the acro or top of the optic covers that, I'm going to go off that information and run the gun. If we're doing the window, obviously we wait for that window to come and cover that that paster. If the paster's in the window, I trust the information and I go off of that information. If it's the back plate, well then it's just all blocked out in front of me, real fuzzy, and I trust that information and go off of it. So what you need to know is at what distance does your growth sight picture shooting start to fall apart at, right? So we're going to start today at 3 yards. I'm going to go through all 3, because I'm shooting an optic gun. I'm going to go through all the 3 references of a growth sight picture. So I'll do top of the optic first, center of the window, and then the back plate. And then we'll kind of compare that to accuracy and speed, and at 3 yards. We'll eventually work it all the way back to 7 or 10 or 15, wherever my ability starts to fall off to where I no longer can hit the center of the target area. Okay. All right, guys. So right now we're at 3 yards. Again, going over the different growth sight pictures that I can use at 3 yards to be able to shoot my target sooner and not later. I'll go ahead and clear my shot timer out so that we can track all these strings. By the way, this is the Kestrel KST 1000. I've enjoyed it. Okay, so the first one I'm going to use is going to be, well, actually the first shot that I'm going to take is going to be my marking shot, right? So that y'all can see where my visual focal point will be the entire time, and that I won't deviate from that, so we'll have a consistent measurement of where I'm staring, at least for everybody, okay? So, press checks are live, let's go. All right. Good center of the target. So now I'll take my eyes, I'll visually pin through that shot. The next thing that I will use in order to shoot the gun will be the top of the optic, just cutting that hole in half. All right, we'll do it to a measurement of time. Shooter ready. I gotta tell myself top of the optic, top of the optic. Let's go. Stand by. Small deviation, 0.99. That's just the right hand a little overpowering the left there. 0.99 out of 3. Okay, cool. Pause that. Alright, so now the next one that I'll use is going to be the center of the optic. So as soon as that first shot is in the center of my window, that is when I will break the shot. Get ready. Center of the window. Stand by. Uh-oh, low life. That means the port handle's being a little bit of a biatch, but still a 0.9. Alright. Now I'm going to go for the back plate. So that is essentially just going to be the big black square blobby thing covering my visual focal point, trusting that I've got everything together and sending it. So back plate. Bye. Oh, that was a bad one. I pushed that one over to the right. That means the left hand was coming on just a hair late, still a 0.99. But also could have been like right when I pressed the shot, it separated around, just inconsistent grip pressure. So I'm going to redo that one, and then we'll have another measurement of accuracy. Stand by. .96 low. All right. Now, for the giggles, I'm going to go for 2 shots and see where we're at with that. I am going to use the gross sight picture of top of the optic. Let's go for that. And bye. Left hand late, 122. Good. We can do better, right? Let's get some jitters out. Stand by. Center 113. Still a little sluggish on that. So just going to remind myself that because my grip is formed sooner, I can press the trigger sooner. Let's go. Stand by. .108. Good. Alright, so gross sight pictures don't have to have everything perfect in the world in order to shoot a target at 3 yards. Alright, so let's step on back to 5. Let's see where this starts to spread out. Let's see what our time starts to do and measure it to shoot an accuracy. Alright guys, so we've bumped it back here to 5. We went ahead and covered the targets up so that we can have a good reference for everybody in the video to see the deviation and gauge it to speed, so on and so forth. So going back to, again, got to do a marking shot on the target. Good, and center. Awesome. Go ahead and clear these out. What's cool about the Kestrel shot timer is it can store up to like 150 different shot strings and 150 different shots. So a lot of data there to be had. The app's not working. Just saying. Okay. So going off gross sight pictures, I'm going to refine. The one thing I do want to add into this is the frenetic motion, right, or extra movement that we don't need in order to achieve the goal at hand, right? So anytime I lift my shoulders, anytime I bend my knees, I don't have my finger on the trigger ready to shoot. That is all extra stuff or added to things that I don't need to do in order to shoot and obtain my goal. So what I'm going to focus on is I'm going to focus on my movement, and I'm going to refine it from the elbows below and more importantly from the end of the fingertips and in. So all the motion starts at the end of the fingers. I don't need it to go past the elbows really to get the gun lifted to my eye level to shoot the gun, all right? So first gross sight picture is going to be top of the optic. Stand by. Whoop, 118. That's cool. I felt like I didn't have all the walls in the trigger taken up when I got the reference of the sighting system that needed to shoot. So let's do it one more time. Top of the optic. Stand by. Good. 111. It's just 111. I felt like everything was okay on that one. So we're going to go to the center of the optic now. Again, refining motion from elbows below. Stand by. Look at that collection. Now this is what happens when your left index finger misses this finger. Because that's what that was. It's all beep. Alright, let's do it again. Center of the window. Stand by. Good, 109. Could have been a little prepped a little bit better on that one. Now we're going to go to the back plate, right? So as soon as the back of the gun is covering what I'm visually pinned at, I will run the trigger. Stand by. Man, I like that back plate. 0.99. Alright, and again, redefining what a gross sight picture is. Alright, it's just a fuzzy reference of the gun over your visually I can't do it. We said furry, man. Alright guys, so now we're back here at the 7. We did the back plate on the 5 and then had a little bit of a gag reel happen. So I forgot to come back and revisit it, so I'll just move back to 7, and now we're talking about gross sight pictures again, right? Got to put a marking shot on the target. Hey, you know what? Press checks are free. There we go. Good. Center. Alright. Don't think I'll have to reload, but it never hurts to have an extra one. Okay. Alright, so again, going back to the first gross sight picture, top of the optic. As soon as the top of the optic cuts my hole, I will send it. Stand by. Like an 80-20 draw, man. That was slow as Christmas. It was a 131. Definitely screwed that up. I mean, that was just a screw up, guys. So let's do it again. I don't know if anybody noticed. Anybody see me kind of rise up on my toes? No? I felt it. Alright, let's do it again. Refining the motion needed to be able to get the gun. Shoot to the eye level. Top of the optic. Nope.
Toes again.
Toes? Was I towing? Dang. Toe, don't you know? Let's go. Stand by. Good, 116. I can't lie to the internet. That was Dot. Man, I saw Dot. Man, I'm sorry. Okay. Aaron, top of the optic. Top of the optic. Top of the optic. You know what? Let's do this. So I can't cheat it anymore. Let's just turn the dot off. Alright? You want to come look, internet? Make sure I'm not lying to you. Now you get to judge how dirty and bad beat up my PDP is, not MFP. Oh my god. Yeah, no? Find it? Not find it? Because it's not there. That's why you can't find it. Alright, top of the optic. Stand by. Don't go look. Don't go look. Don't go. That's low left. I'd rather video not. Just don't do it, Zach. Don't. Top the optic. Here we go. Stand by. $109. Thank you. Holy crap. Oh, you're zooming in. Don't zoom in. That was top of the optic. Now we're going to go for the center of the window, right? There's no dot there, so I can't cheat you. As soon as I see that first shot in the center of the window, I'm going to make sure my finger's prepped to send the shot. Stand by. Oh, that one's right. That one's to the right, lad. It's a 103, okay? When we get to the right hand or left hand's collecting in late on the gun, knocking the right hand off the path. Man, let's do that again. Center of the window, 103. Oh, let's beat that. Stand by. Ha, there he goes. All right, 103 again, and that one hit center of the paper where we've been wanting them to go all day. I blame the cheap ammo. I don't think that's a thing. All right, now let's go for backplate. Stand by. There you go, 9.9. And that one was good. Okay. All right, so seeing that we're at 7, bill drills will run at 7. Other drills will run at 7. I can't count, but let's run a bill drill. Huh? Why not? All right, shooter ready. on the bottom sheet. We're going to do it on the bottom paper. Stand by. That was 7, not going to lie to the internet, and they can count it. We're over to the right just a hair. That was the first one. These are the rest. Obviously I fired 7 shots. It's a 234. If I would have been able to count correctly, take 19 off of that, so still above 2 seconds. But also there was no dot for tracking. It was all gross sight picture, right? So I wonder how much more accurate I could be if after the first shot, after using a gross sight picture, I start actually tracking the dot. I'm going to replace these 2 sheets of paper, and then we're going to come back and we're going to start playing with multiple shots on paper. So, coming back up, guys, we're going to work multiple shots using a gross sight picture. What will happen through recoil management, proper leveraging of the gun with a support hand, we will start to track the dot onto the paper, okay? The important thing about shooting an optic-sighted gun is not to stare at the red thing in the middle of the window. What are you talking about? The referencing for aiming? Yeah, don't stare at that thing. Stare at your target, okay? As hard as that can be for some of you kitty cat and furries out there, you gotta stay target focused, okay? Let's go. So, going off of gross sight picture, I'm essentially going to race everything to where I start to track the gun in the bottom of my peripheral vision. Once I start to track the gun in that part of my peripheral vision, I will start prepping the trigger. By that time that I can see the gun, both hands are on the gun. It is referenced at the target in an area that I can hit. So I'm still following all the 4 rules of firearm safety. Know what my target is, what's beyond it, make sure I can hit my target, so on and so forth. Everything with us in front of us is deemed to be shot and safe to shoot. So we are following the rules. Here's the deal. I am going to show y'all what the 80 is. Boom. That's the 80. Okay. Right where it is at the bottom of my vision, I can see the top of the gun. It's not necessarily covering anything that I am visually staring at. It is more, everything is in line with my body and on the way to that point. Okay. So if I come out here, I'm going to break a shot for a marking shot. There's my marking shot. Now I'm going to bring the gun back to that first gross sight picture, which is the top of the optic. Break my shot. Now I'm going to go back a little bit more. So now I don't even have the top of the optic. All right. Oh, got to reload it. Boom. Perfect. Top of the optic. No top of the optic. That was my third shot. Now I'm going to come back roughly right where I believe my 80 is on my drop. Shoot. Come back a little bit more. Shoot. Come back a little bit more. Shoot. Right? So I know that at this distance I can get on the gun sooner, right, and be able to hit my target. This is important to know for when you're chasing those times, okay? Now, not to mean that I need to put my finger when the gun is pointing down here at my feet. No. I only put my finger on the trigger when I start to track the gun being pointed at my targets, referenced at my target, and my ability and my skill level to be able to hit it. For this, for you, it might fall apart at 2 yards for you. Some people might be able to go all the way to 20. Like, I don't know, think of Terran Butler, right, from Terran Tactical. When he brings his gun out here, he is gross sight picturing it or referencing it to his skill level to be able to shoot all those fancy still targets that are 7 yards in front of him. So just know that this is eventually going to fall off, okay, as far as what the size of the target, the distance of the target is in relationship to you. So measuring to time and speed, shot at the bottom, so now we're going to go to the top. Racing to the 80. I'm going to fire 2 shots. Sure that's good. Yep. Stand by. First one's top of the sheet. Next one's in the center. So that's a 106. First one's an 88. The second one came at 1800ths of a second after. Cool. Good. So we're top of the sheet. First one, when that left hand came onto the gun, it kind of pulled that muzzle up, and that's why we drifted high. I essentially shot it right at the top of the optic, cutting the middle of the sheet in half. So that last one was a 106 for 2 shots. We're kind of happy with that. I'd like my first shot to be a little bit more center and not as high, so I'm going to make sure that I can repeat this, okay? Again, working off a gross sight picture at the bottom of my peripheral vision, essentially 80% of my draw is where I start to track that. The top of the optic is cutting essentially those two sheets of paper where the line is in half. Okay, so that would be what I am visually referencing with my eyes to be able to hit that target or know that I can hit that target and that it's safe to pull the trigger. Okay, if you're ready, stand by. Good, 110. 9-2 for the first one, and then we got an 18 after that one. Let's do it again. Stand by. $113. First one was a 9-8. Another one again, 15 second split. After that, however you want to say it. But that one was for all the internet, right? Oh, he's holding his shirt. Go check this video, you assholes. All right, you ready? Get ready. Stand by. 112. Let's do it again. Do I have to? I do not have to. Stand by. 115. Do it again. Stand by. 111. All right. All those are on paper. Who's upset with 2 shots at 111? I mean, you really shouldn't be. But because I've got all that paper and I've got all this area to shoot bullets in, I'm going to push the wheels off the wagon